Gentlemen of the Senate, this is the first of two foreclosure bills I'll be bringing before you. The only two remaining bills, I believe, in this body. I have several that were filed, and I think this is actually the comparatively less controversial one, but I guess I'll find out in a couple minutes. This bill stands for a very simple proposition, that the use of a fraudulent or falsified document for purposes of obtaining a foreclosure is unlawful in Virginia, and that there is a remedy in such situation. You've probably seen lots of stories or heard stories about robo-signers and foreclosure mills and activities of that sort that dealt with the mass production of foreclosure documents or documents that are used in foreclosure that were not accurate, were not truthful, and were made for ulterior purposes. There's been lots of representations in committee that Virginia banks were not involved in those activities. I take those at face value, and frankly, whether or not this statute will be used, I guess, remains to be seen. One thing I would draw to the attention of all the attorneys and lawmakers in the body is this only penalizes a knowing use of a fraudulent document. So those who are trial attorneys can tell you how hard that is to prove before a fact finder, but that is part of the statute, and so therefore it's a very high threshold. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd simply say that this is a targeted remedy. As you probably know, financial services right now are exempted from our Virginia Consumer Protection Act, and this would essentially, again, give a remedy in this unique situation. And with that, I move the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall the bill pass? All in favor of the motion, the senior senator from Henrico, Senator Stouch.
President, would the gentleman rise for a question?
Will the senator from Fairfax City rise for a question?
Yes, I rise.
Senior senator from Henrico, Senator Stouch.
Mr. President, this is my first encounter with the bill, so I may be misinterpreting it, but I noticed on line 15 there's appropriate equitable relief and compensatory damages, but then it goes on to talk about punitive damages. In what instance would you envision, once a person's been made whole equitably, that there may be punitive damages?
See, Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Petersen.
Well, I would answer the gentleman, in any civil cause of action right now in Virginia where you can prove compensatory damages and willful and malicious conduct on behalf of the offending party, you have the opportunity for punitive damages. So in that respect, this civil cause of action would be no different than any other civil cause of action where you can show compensatory damages plus malice aforethought.
Senior senator from Henrico, Senator Stouch. The senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would the gentleman yield for a question, please?
Will the senator from Fairfax City yield for a question?
I yield.
Senator yields. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, my first question would be is that this bill deals with the use of false documents in a foreclosure proceeding. Is that correct?
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Petersen.
Yes, sir.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, my next question would be, then, is false documents, is that synonymous with a fraudulent misrepresentation?
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Petersen.
I would answer the gentleman. It probably goes to really the knowledge of the person that used that document. If you use a document you know to be false in order to procure a foreclosure, then the answer would be yes. If it's inadvertent, then the answer would be no.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, then following up on the response to that, as I read on line 11, any person who knowingly makes, and based on your explanation using the predicate knowing, would that not be synonymous with misrepresentation in this particular bill?
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Petersen.
In this particular instance, I guess that would be the case.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, my next question would be, is there not an existing common law right of action, right of civil action for fraud in the absence of embedding it statutorily in the Code of Virginia?
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Petersen.
I would answer the gentleman. This issue was brought up both in subcommittee and committee, and I would simply say if that's the case, we should get rid of our Virginia Consumer Protection Act because that has the exact same statutory protection. Yes, there is common law fraud, but in today's economy, you have situations where, again, people that are in this type of transaction, it's very hard to go in and prove all the five fingers of fraud, again, where you don't have face-to-face contact with the person that's actually producing these documents. They're at some foreclosure shop, which could be 1,000 miles away.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, I would further inquire that this is under Title 55, which is dealing with real estate, as opposed under the Virginia Consumer Protection Law, which does create independent statutory causes of action, but also embeds in it treble damages and recovery of fees, does it not?
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Petersen.
I would answer the gentleman, this is not in the Consumer Protection Act, so actually the remedy here is lesser than you get under the VCPA, but it's the best I can do. I apologize, I can't do better.
Senator from James City County, Senator
Mr.
Norman.
President, my next question would be dropping down to lines 14 and 15. It provides in there for damages arising, but the injured party shall be entitled to appropriate equitable relief. Is there not an existing common law cause of action for equitable relief in the instance where there's potentially a fraudulent abuse?
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Petersen.
I would say to the gentleman that's a matter of some disputes. I mean, there's no statute on that. I've seen judges who occasionally will give an injunction in this type of situation. I'll see other times that it doesn't happen. Obviously, the purpose of having a statute is to make it clear.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall the bill pass? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their votes? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 25, noes 14.
Ayes 25, noes 14. The bill passes.